one has ever told me there were free books about Hermione Granger and Draco Malfoy falling in love in their 30s, there's an entire community dedicated to writing and reading free fan fiction about Hermione and Draco getting together. I actually found a beginner's guide to Dramione fan fiction. I'll link that website below. There were a few different books to pick from. In the same way that 50 Shades of Grey was originally Twilight fan fiction, but then published with its own universe, there are Dramione fan fiction books being rewritten to extract themselves from the Harry Potter universe for copyright purposes, being published as their own books. Is this legal? Who knows? I went ahead and researched a few different fan fictions. I settled on this one called Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love. I kind of love as a title, The Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love. Draco is so melodramatic. That is sort of how he would talk. The other one that's extremely popular called Alchemized is way more dark. It's more like sex slavery, Handmaid's Tale, Voldemort won the war. Like, it's a lot darker of a universe. I just had surgery, moved to a new country. I need a light vibe. So that's why I chose to start with Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love, because it sounded lighter than the other one. Let's put it that way. The craziest part to me is that it is free to download on your Kindle. It makes sense because they can't make money off of it because it's copyrighted characters and such. That's what it's like when your kitchen is in your living room. That's what that sounds like. I started it last night. I'm around 30% of the way through. In this universe, Draco is an Auror who is assigned to protect Hermione, who is a healer and a doctor. For some reason, is not married to Ron in this universe. They allude to their engagement, but it's clear that they're not together still, although they are on good terms. It's enemies to lovers, lots of banter, lots of tension. I just reached the part where Draco realizes that he's into Hermione. In terms of how Hermione feels about him, that part's still a mystery. We're not quite sure. I'm getting the vibe that maybe Hermione is interested in him. We'll have to see. So far, what I really like is how the author has Hermione toe the line between the Muggle world and the magical world. It feels very realistic for her arc as an adult. She's both a healer in the magical world and an actual doctor in the Muggle world. I also loved this scene where she returns to Malfoy Manor, which was the place that she was tortured in the last book. I thought the callbacks like that to the original series were very compelling. This whole book is written from Draco's perspective. It's giving very much of Songbird and Snakes written from President Snow's perspective. I love a book written from a narcissist point of view. Draco is a narcissist, and that shows in the writing, and it's from his point of view. You can see him fight to undo the programming that he was given as a child, and you do root for him to become better, but he's still not completely a kind or nice person. Personally, I'm not rooting for them to be together because I don't like how Draco is messing with her, which is really typical of an enemies to lovers type of story. I don't tend to like them because the men typically in an enemies to love story are just mean, whereas I want someone kind for Hermione. There's something in there where I don't quite get it. Like, when someone is mean, that's a turn off. I want someone nice for Hermione. Like, she's the best. And Draco keeps being kind of snarky and enjoys poking fun at her, enjoys teasing her. That's just kind of an ick for me. My Kindle estimates that I have 9 hours and 6 minutes left in this book. I still can't believe that someone wrote this book completely for free. Like, the drive. Mind you, the writing is great. It's a lot better than a lot of the romance novels I've picked up in our modern economy. I was expecting the writing to be a bit more tell and not show, or a bit more obvious, but it's actually very solid writing. The pacing is good. The narrative voice is interesting. All around, well done. I like being steeped in this alternative world where Hermione and Draco are friendly / crushing on each other. Let's go make some hot cocoa, curl up, and try to get cracking on the rest of this book. Also, I'm gonna make a video where I try different blind date with a book packages. One just arrived today. It's in a pink package. I don't know what's in here, but it feels like it has cool stuff in it, and I'm so excited to do that. If you want to see this video and other ones that I have coming up in the future, feel free to subscribe. Slightly risky to do this in a white shirt. I've never had this before. You could tell because I just opened it. That's pretty good. So we're ready to begin reading. Don't you love this painting? It's like Christmas trees and snow, but it's kind of blurry so you can't really tell. But you can tell just enough to know that like, oh yeah, that is Christmas trees and snow. Ooh. I put this scarf here because I don't want to get chocolate on the couch just in case. Malfoy keeps wanting to use a broomstick to fly with Hermione so that they're close together and either she or he can put their arms around the other person's waist. It's kind of hilarious writing. See, this is the kind of thing that I don't relate to with enemies to lovers. This is written from Malfoy's perspective, right? There was something delightfully murderous in the way she spat Malfoy at his retreating back, as if to say he's enjoying how angry she is. I just find that so icky. It's just not my trope. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Dramione lovers. I like the book. The specific trope is not for me. I've been reading for 30-ish minutes so far. I can see where one of the big appeals between Draco and Hermione getting together is that they actually do match each other intellectually. Of course, Hermione is going to be smarter than everyone because she is smarter than everyone, but Draco, for his part, is not smart. He was always academic, he was always a high achiever, like #1 in potions, good at school, and a really good wizard, and a really intelligent one. So it is fun in this to see Hermione and Draco as peers rather than as enemies, because they are both really brilliant, and it's fun to see that brilliant matched up together. In the scene I was just reading, they're preparing for something dangerous they're about to do the next day, and Draco has a book and he's studying ward charms, and Hermione sees him studying and is so excited about it and comes and sits next to him and is trying to read the book with him. There is something very charming to that because they are both so smart and are both so studious. I do understand that element of the appeal of them together. Here's a good example of this writing that I just loved. It was a startling moment of sublimity that took a bit of their souls with it. Granger watched the bird's disappearance into the blue with a soft sigh, her fingertips on her collarbone, her lips parted. Granger said, "Beautiful," and Draco said, "Yes," but they were not talking about the same thing. This is why the girls love this. This is what people are getting into. I'm constantly unsatisfied with the font, the color, the text size, all of it. This is what I settled on right now. I mean, it's kind of nice, but now I'm sitting here and it looks like too big, but then sometimes the text size looks too small. If I decrease the text size, then the percent goes down faster. A little psych trick that I sometimes employ. Sometimes when the writing is like this, it's hard to know if I don't know these words because they're made up words or if I just don't know the word in English. Do you know in elementary school when they used to tell you read a page of a book and count how many words you don't know, and if you get to 5 then the book is above your reading level? I'm like, I might need to do that. Oubliettes. They encountered 2 illusory staircases that led to oubliettes. If I'm being honest, I don't know what illusory means, but I could guess. But oubliette, that might be just like a made-up fantasy thing. Maybe it's a French word, I don't know. Draco disarmed some nasty pressure-triggered traps, an orb of pestilence, and a rot rune. Pestilence? That's like the 3rd word I'm not really sure about. Granger took care of a searing sacrilege aimed at their hearts. Sacrilege? I know the word sacrilegious, and I use it quite often, but do I understand it in this context? Not really. That's number 4. Okay, I think maybe it's also a British thing. Draco said, "These nuns aren't bollocksing about." Okay, I know bollocksing is a British slang word, so maybe it's just a bit more British English than I'm used to. There's our 5th word in one page I'm not sure about. Waving his wand towards the transfigured nun who lay pewishly somewhere above them. Pewishly? Again, I have guesses based on the context, but honestly, it beats me. Was I expecting a Dramione fanfiction to be above my reading level? No, I was not. I was ill prepared for that. I just got to a moment when they need to use a blood lock. They have to use the blood of someone to open a door. They're making it a big thing, like, oh my god, this is so dark, which makes me very happy that I chose this book over the other one, because a blood lock being dark is like, yes, accurate, but it's a lot less dark than the basic sex slave plot of Alchemize. I just figured out what pewishly meant. Hermione transfigured the nun into a pew. So the author meant she was laying there pewishly, almost like a tongue-in-cheek type of thing. Okay, their banter can be kind of funny. I'm around 45% done, so we did 15% tonight. Not the best, not the worst. It's gonna take me a lot longer to finish this book than I had initially anticipated. We're taking a little bit of a break right now because A, Omar made some pasta and I was incredibly hungry, so thank you. And B, because Emma Chamberlain on Vanity Fair's lie detector test video just came out. Best night ever. One thing I quite like about what this author added is this idea that when someone uses magic on somebody else, the receiving person can feel some type of emotion or closeness to the person who did the magic. Here, Hermione is doing a spell on Draco, and it says, Draco felt the quiver of her magic through his hair and the caress of it across his eyes. It felt perhaps even more intimate than a touch would have been. It's now past midnight. We ended up turning on the last Harry Potter movie as we've been doing our rewatch, as you can see. But as it is now 12:30 in the morning and Omar has a job, we had to pause that. It was funny watching it because this is where Ron and Hermione get together and kiss. And I have to say, I'm a lot less bought in now. When Draco came on the screen at the Battle of Hogwarts, following Harry into the Room of Requirement, I was a little bit rooting for him. I was a little bit cheering him on. I see him differently now. We're all just people with our own thoughts, experiences. I read somewhere that Harry Potter was the boy who lived, but Draco was the boy who didn't have a choice. I don't know if I believe that, but I kind of do. I mean, he's so young. Although in the Battle of Hogwarts, he didn't need to follow Harry into the Room of Requirement. That's all I'm saying. And his friends wouldn't have died if he didn't do that, so. He had a choice there. I don't know. I'm not completely bought in on the whole evil person turns not evil situation, as we know, but I saw him differently now. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so when I last left off, I was 44% of the way through. Kindle estimates that I have 7 hours and 11 minutes left. Somehow I thought I was going to finish this book today. It's becoming clear to me that it should have become clear to me hours ago when this said I had 9 hours left, but I really thought I could do it somehow. Like maybe the estimate is wrong. It's not wrong. It's a long book. Or I read slow, or a combination of the two. Something is telling me it's not gonna happen, and that something is the fact that it's actually already 12:30, so the next day has already come. And this is 7 hours, and I'm probably gonna go to bed in 30 minutes. So let's read a tiny bit more. Now that we're a little bit cozier, we're steeped in the Harry Potter universe, we can read a little bit more, brush our teeth, and then go to bed. Does that sound like a plan? Let's do it. I'll have to read this in bed. Good night. It's around 1 a.m. only got a little bit of reading in today, admittedly on the toilet. I did finally get to a part where the two of them talk about some of the tragedies of the past. There was this parallel where both of them have scars on their left arm. Hermione's is from where she was tortured by Bellatrix, and Draco's is from where he had the Death Eater tattoo and tried to remove it. Both of them have these left arm scars and are kind of relating to each other in that way, even though Draco was there while Hermione was getting tortured by Bellatrix. The two of them kind of talk about that. Skip ahead if you don't want spoilers. I also got to see Draco ask out Hermione, which made me very giddy. I didn't think I was rooting for them, but then when he did that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It wasn't super overt. It ended up just being a sort of a thank you, but for a minute it was like, oh my god, is he asking her out? Why did I want that to be the case? The temperature is starting to rise. I'm still only around 45% done, so there's a lot more to go. Things are heating up. Let's keep reading. This is the first legitimately gory thing that has happened. It was also quite casually thrown in there, but at least that's not the central plot, so it's okay. I just finished the rose garden scene. Whoa. Whoa. Good morning. It was another late night reading, which is so special and like my favorite thing to do in the whole world. 61% of the way through. I thought we'd read a little bit before breakfast. The only reason I stopped reading last night was because I literally had to go to sleep. I literally fell asleep. I love when you wake up the next morning after falling asleep reading a book. It just makes me so excited to pick it back up again. This is around the time when I'm insatiable and I need to lock in and just like finish it. The estimated time is 5 hours. I really enjoy the dialogue. Like there is some good banter. The dialogue is well paced. I find dialogue to be pretty bad in most romance books. Either trite or they try to make it funny but it's not funny. But I find myself LOLing and also feeling like, wow, that was very clever while reading this. If you can't tell already, my expectations for this book have been blown out of the water. This far exceeds expectations. Okay, enough talking. Enough talking. Let's get some reading done. This is gonna be a spoiler, so skip forward. The part that I'm at right now, they have each saved each other's lives at different moments in time in pretty big ways. That's enough to draw you towards your enemy. It's kind of like the last Harry Potter book where Draco saves Harry's life and then Harry saves Draco's life at the end. And like they keep just saving each other's lives. And then Narcissa saves Harry's life at the end. Also, Harry is barely in this. There's references to him, but he's not in it really at all. He's in it much less than Draco was in the original Harry Potter series. I need to eat breakfast. I need to eat breakfast. I'm gonna level with you here. The day escaped me. It's already midnight. I read nothing, which is sad because I really want to know what happens. Tomorrow I'm getting my flu and COVID vaccines, so to give me a chance to stay home all day and lock it. Deal. I might read a little bit right now, but we'll check back in tomorrow. Good morning. I woke up ill. I woke up sick. I know exactly who did this to me. His name starts with a Z and he works at an internet store in my neighborhood. So if you know who you are, dude, fuck. Next time I see you, it is on freaking sight. I know you did this to me. I went to go set up a phone plan. This dude was actively sniffling. Blew in my face. Like he sighed and he went like this. Jet stream straight to my face. I was so mad when it happened. 3 days later, boom, woke up with a sore throat. It's on sight, dude. We have to be careful what we wish for. You know, yesterday I was a little bit down that I didn't get to read a lot, but today I woke up ill. Now I have all the time in the world to read. I have 4 hours and 20 minutes left. It's 10:30 a.m. Ironically, I was supposed to be getting my flu and COVID shot right now. I don't think you're supposed to get a vaccine while being sick. Like, that doesn't sound like it'll work. You probably thought this was coffee or hot chocolate, but no, it's bone broth. Saving my freaking life. 4.5 hours to finish the rest of this. I think we can do it. I feel confident. dinner party scene goes crazy. We've certainly established that his interest in Hermione is reciprocated. I'm at 77%. I'll check back in soon. We did it. We finished the book. I finished reading my first Dramione fanfiction. Final thoughts. I ended up enjoying this a lot more than I could have expected, though I did feel that the last quarter of the book was not as strong as the first 75%. It started to get really self-indulgent and repetitive at the end, and it lost all sense of plot and pacing. However, it is a romance novel and it does deliver on the romance at the end. I was on track to give this 5 stars based on the first 75%, but because of the end where things started to fall apart for me, it's more of a 4-star book. That being said, there were some creative elements that the author combined with magic and romance that I wouldn't have expected. I really enjoyed seeing that creativity and fun. Overall, I learned a lot more about the fanfiction community. I haven't been exposed to fanfiction before, so I'm really glad I chased my curiosity on this. I'm genuinely in awe of the talent, drive, and creativity it would take to make something like this with 0 monetary reward. Like, you are doing this just for the love of the game. That's something I found very inspiring. As for Dramione itself, I think I get it more now. I see the appeal of the two of them together, especially how they match on an intellectual level. And I really love being back in the Harry Potter universe. It was very nostalgic and comforting. I wish we had gotten more into Draco's redemption arc. There was some hinting at it where you got to feel like, okay, he's not the guy that he used to be. What I would love is for the actual Harry Potter series to be rewritten from Draco's perspective. If anyone from the Dramione community or the fanfic community is watching this and you know of a fanfiction that does that, please let me know. That is what I would love to read. You can totally tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think the appeal of an enemies to lovers arc is for people who feel that maybe they're not lovable. They have this dream or vision of someone who hates them changing their mind and loving them again. Like, it's giving a little bit of daddy issues. Again, you can tell me if I'm wrong. From that lens, I could see why Dramione is the perfect archetype for that kind of fantasy, but it's just not really my taste. I prefer romances where people are really nice and sweet to each other. I don't think I'll read another Dramione fanfiction right away, but I am very glad that I tried it and that I read this one in particular because it wasn't super dark or even too romance heavy for me until the very end. It was such a fun first foray into the community. I genuinely learned a lot.